Hi there, Serial Trader here. I want to do an update on the major US indices. And okay, so looking here at the hourly chart on SPX. So since my last video I did there on Monday, I believe, of last week, this top that we put in there on the Monday at 3950.43, that's still intact. And I'm tentatively labeling the subsequent price action as potentially a leading diagonal. So initial leading diagonal 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, expanding leading diagonal, mind you, and that's where wave 1 is shorter than 3, and then wave 3 is shorter than 5, and you have overlap. So as opposed to a contracting leading diagonal, it's an expanding leading diagonal. Definitely a lower confidence pattern because it's fairly rare, so not something I would necessarily want to be confident enough in to place a trade on. But potentially we got a little leading diagonal 5 waves down for either a 1 or an A. This bounce up that we appear to have finished there on Friday, either a 2 or a B. And maybe we're actually going to come down here in either a 3 or a C. And of course, if it is a 3, you'll be looking for a 4 and a 5 as well for a larger initial impulse wave if there's a larger downtrend starting. Of course, all this requires some confirmation. So I'm tentatively, or you should say cautiously, bearish for some more downside here. But obviously, if we go and take out the high 3950.43, then at least in the short term, you know, the bearish potential's gone. But as it stands right now, there is a case to be made for some downside. And you can also say that we have a little bit of a, well, at least a shorter term head and shoulders top here. So this would be, and let me just get out a little kind of scribble tool. This would be the left shoulder, the head, the right shoulder, and then of course, you know, this would kind of be like the neckline area. So confirmation, we would need to come down and break the neckline area. So I would say if we take out, let's see here, this low is 38.84.94. This low is 38.85.03. So let's just use this low over here. If we take out 38.84.94, then I think we basically have a confirmed head and shoulders, at least short-term top in place, and we'll be looking for some downside just based on that. But as you can see, we haven't actually broken that neckline yet, so we're still just in between the range of downside confirmation and upside confirmation. So not really a high confidence environment to place at least a large trade over. I think it might be a sellable or a shortable event, taking out this at least short-term 38.84.94, and then of course there is potential for a larger degree downtrend to develop. But again, this really needs some confirmation to entertain anything. Sorry, to entertain anything that's more seriously bearish. So it should be a interesting week coming up here tomorrow, starting tomorrow Monday. Tomorrow, I think either we go and finally start making some lower lows and start some sort of downtrend at least, or we go take out the high. I would like to think we don't just stay in this tight range on Monday, but we'll see. Anyway, this coming week, I think will kind of be the deciding factor, at least for some shorter term direction. Well, I'll go through some other things too that have me leaning more towards the bearish side, although again, requiring confirmation to try anything with substantial size here. Okay, so yeah, that's my tentative short-term count here on SPX, obviously subject to change, being that nothing's really confirmed as of yet. And I really am not a big fan of a leading diagonal for a wave 1 or A. Again, valid pattern, but rare. So I'm certainly ready for that to be invalidated by making new highs. But until it does, I remain cautiously bearish, we'll say, just analytically speaking at least. Okay, now if we look at the daily candle here on Friday for SPX, this is actually a bearish engulfing candlestick engulfing the prior day's real body on Thursday, and we did close slightly below the T line, so that's certainly a valid daily candlestick sell signal. So that also adds a little bit of confidence or probability perhaps to at least some short-term downside here. And then on the weekly here on SPX, you could certainly consider this a dark cloud cover where you open above the prior candle and then close more than halfway halfway down the body of the prior candle, so that's technically a dark cloud cover candle, potentially bearish reversal, again requiring some downside confirmation. It's not the strongest signal, but it's a signal nonetheless. So daily and weekly sell signals here on the candles. That's notable. Dow Jones Industrial Average looks like we did an inverted hammer there despite making a slight new intraday high on Friday. Certainly got rejected and closed down, or basically closed flat, I guess, but certainly closed down from the intraday levels. And yeah, an inverted hammer, that's a potential sell signal on the daily. On the weekly, do we have anything here on the Dow? Basically a weekly doji star. So that, again, potential reversal candle, not the strongest signal, at least yet. It would require some downside to confirm. And let's have a look at the NASDAQ composite. So this is looking a little bit more bearish than the other two. Not really a particular signal here on the daily candle for Friday there, but we are closed. We have closed once again below the T line, starting to get a little bit of a moving average crossover. The 3 EMA crossing below the 8 EMA on the daily, and of course coming off our overbought condition. Not yet anywhere near oversold, but not a strong daily signal as far as the candle goes for the NASDAQ on Friday. Now the weekly candle. Let's have a look here on the weekly. Now this is actually a notable signal. So we have a weekly bearish engulfing candlestick on the NASDAQ composite. So that's certainly... Now again, it needs confirmation because look over here, we had a weekly bearish engulfing, and what did we do the next week? Well, we never even touched the lows. We opened up higher and closed up and made new all-time highs. So that was a failed bearish engulfing sell signal. Let's see if this one is or not. You know, I'm open-minded. If we got some downside follow-through, all right. Finally, we might have some bearish action to look to take advantage of, but need some confirmation here. But you can see the signals are certainly there. At least a reason to be cautious, at the very least, even if you don't want to try and short the market. At least be cautious if you're trying to buy, or if you're already in long positions. I'd be definitely looking at your risk management, tightening things up in case this does roll over in a big way. It certainly could. Now on the VIX. VIX is still not doing a whole lot, but it's not making new lows. Started maybe a short-term little uptrend here. So VIX not really provide any powerful information yet. But on the VIX VVIX tool, I mean, we're still technically on a sell signal. So you can see here we got above the red moving average on VVIX. Then over here we got below the blue moving average on SPX after we had the VIX VVIX divergence. Now this has been choppy, so yeah, we got below the blue moving average, not much follow through. Then we got back above the blue moving average, but now we're back below it again as of Friday's action there near the close. So I guess technically on a sell signal, but again, VVIX has come back below the red moving average. You know, if we were to do this, just to highlight the interaction with the moving averages there. So basically, we got to roll over here pretty much right away, or else, you know, this isn't a very strong sell signal, and maybe we're heading up to new highs again. But I kind of doubt that, but it'll likely be determined tomorrow, or I would think early next week at least. So there's definitely some bearish signals here that the market is sending. Definitely needs some confirmation, though, to be confident of any substantial downside. So for now, we wait. Okay. And I'll just add that as far as the timing goes, as far as being similar to February of 2020, if we start going down significantly this week, that'll basically be identical to what happened in February of 2020. So that'd be interesting, you know. The market doesn't always repeat itself, but sometimes it does, and in kind of an extraordinary way that's so similar, you know, it almost blows your mind, right? But we'll see. So I would just summarize, kind of put a bottom line on it as cautiously bearish. Certainly there are signals to be bearish, but until it's confirmed with some downside price action, I wouldn't be too aggressive as far as trying to trade it. And just be patient. Wait for the opportunity to set up properly. All right, Serial Trader signing off.